Do you think the concept of biodiversity net gain, just generally speaking, do you think it's right?
I do. I do.
I also do. I also think it because it's a material impact and it's something we should consider. In which case, what would be the most simplest way to tackle it?
Give it to someone that understands how to deliver a construction site as a remediator to combat problems. You've essentially taken someone that's own. It's very one sided, and that's kind of the problem across the board, right? You're not getting someone that can actually deliver and understand and interpret what needs to be delivered. So the purpose of the biodiversity net gain is we're in a society and a culture where that we're trying to undo already badly done work. So whether it's recycling, waste, the ozone layer or whatever it means, we're trying to like counterbalance that to not be neutral. So neutral is bringing back the same, equality back on a parcel of land. We're trying to go 100% above that particular position that it's a standpoint that it's in. I think that's obviously a huge step from nothing at all. So it's gone from not having a requirement from a biodiversity perspective to having 100% on top of what is already delivered on that particular site. And you've got to remove, typically if you're building a house on a plot, you might be building on 15% of that land plus access. So let's say 40% of that site is now going to be tarmac or hard standing or concrete or foundations, right? To take that site from 40% deficit and then 100% is 140% improvement on the areas that remain. And I think that the 100% is just too much. I think it should be staggered. I think it should be 25% improvement and then staggered over a 20-year course. So 25%, 50%, 75%, 100% is a good place to start. So we can sort of get used to it, model how the grading works, offsite contributions are relative and doesn't hit the bottom line so much. Because when this came out, a lot of sites have already been bought and paid for. So that price is already factored into the old rules. So I think that that's slightly unfair. But I just think, and more consultation with actual delivery. It's all the time. Like, a perfect example is anyone that's listening has ever delivered a project that's ever gone through getting a third-party consultant involved that makes it one proposal of a plan. You then go, but well, I can't do that because then that means that I've got a clash over here, or that then means that this doesn't work here. And then I go, oh, okay, so I'll draw another plan. And then they draw another plan. And then they come back and you go, that still doesn't work because the weight load here doesn't fit this particular thing. And then you go around the houses, and then you get to a point where you come to an agreement, and then you can proceed on that agreement. But the BNG is predominantly, I believe, been just thrown on the developer, like, deal with it
without the necessary resource to deal with it.
The council still doesn't, and I if anyone's done any BNG stuff, still doesn't understand it. I've strategically asked questions to the councillor, to the planning officer at the council, that I know that they'll probably slip up on the answer about BNG. They don't understand it, and I don't really understand it, but I don't understand enough to get me where I need to go. But they don't understand enough to make a decision,
let alone to consult and then give you an actual condition against that.
Do you want to know one absolute fundamental flaw in BNG is when you submit a planning application, you draw a red line around the application that you're putting forward. If you think about it, if you're putting forward a site that's 20 houses on a 5-acre site, but the 20 houses are actually only sat on 2 of the acres, and then it's gardens and further amenity or whatever it may be, you just change the red line. You reduce the size of the red line that you're putting in for a planning application. Obviously, you need your garden sizes, amenity, etc. And that is an easy way to slice off a lot of the overhead of BNG. And that is a fundamental flaw of assessment because it's a very easy trick to use that passes. It really does help our channel if you subscribe to the channel, and we can put out better content for you guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe button.